User profiles in ABT site. To define users in ABT site, go to the menu Settings and User Profiles. For an efficient engineering, several users are already predefined in ABT site, together with corresponding roles for these users. Please first check the common settings. Here, pay specific attention to the password policy. We strongly recommend to tick all 4 options for secure password and also take care about the minimum password length. Defining roles. These roles are predefined. Depending on the roles, several settings are available. The most important settings for operation with the Sigo control point are these operation access settings. So depending on the role, more or less of these options are available. And can of course be defined here for the role. If it's necessary to add further roles, it's possible with just click Add Role. A new role is added. Define a name. And all the settings for operation, read-write properties, if it should be possible to work with the setup and service assistant in the different views, if there should be installation access, yes or no, if there should be all properties visible, yes or no, if it should be possible to operate rooms, yes or no, and configuration operation, load and backup for the engineering, or even full access for the engineering. If there should be bugnet access, yes or no, and which views should be available for this role. It's also possible to define if users with this role should be able to create, update and delete other users, and if they should be able to edit nodes in bugnet. We strongly recommend to set automatic logout to yes for security on the plans. Please note, roles can only be deleted if there is no user assigned to that role. For example, here with the balancer role, we have a user predefined which has this role, so it is not possible to delete this role. Now define users. For each predefined role, one user is predefined. The administrator is the user with which you had to log on the ABT site. Of course, it's possible to change the password which was set before. It is not possible to delete the administrator. And it is also not possible to define an expiration date for the administrator. So this needs to be available always. All the other settings are possible to set for the specific user. When a user is indicated in red, it means there was no password defined. So let's define a password. To define a password for other users, first you have to enter the password for the administrator. Then set the password for the new user. To verify the password, you can click on the small I icon and view the password. Confirm the password in the second row and confirm with OK. It's now possible to set an expiration date for the password of this user. For example, every month it should be reset. For the predefined users, each user belongs to one of the predefined roles. Of course, the settings could be changed here if necessary. If more users than the predefined are necessary, it's possible to add a user. Define a name for this new user, for example, caretaker. Insert the administrator password and define the password for the new user. Only when the password and the confirm password are set in a correct way, the OK button is framed with orange and available for pushing. It's possible to define new users and, for efficient engineering, to take the settings from an existing user. For example, we want to take the advanced operator settings for this new user. Confirm with OK. Now all the settings here were taken over from the advanced operator. I also can change the role of this caretaker user, for example, to the new role which was defined before. Now, as we have one user with this role, we are not able to delete this role anymore. Of course, it is also possible to delete not necessary users. To do so, just select the user and push delete. If we now go back to roles, we can see there's no user anymore for this new role and it's available for deleting. When all users are set, it's recommended to carry out a verify profiles action. In the log view, we can see the result and get an indication if there is something wrong. For example, for standard engineer, we don't have the right password policy used. So going back to users, standard engineer, and we can see it's still indicated in red as we have no password defined. When all users are defined, we can again verify the profiles and there should be no error message anymore.